Hello friends, welcome back to HSA English classes. Today we are going to learn Ode on a Grecian Urn by John Keats. The central idea of the poem is superiority of art and it describes various scenes. It is divided into 5 stanzas. First stanza describes urn, beauty and praise. Second, musician and tree. Third, lover and beloved. Fourth, sacrifice of a neighbor. Fifth, message, beauty is truth, truth is beauty. That is all ye know on earth and all ye need to know. Ode on a Grecian Urn, published in the year 1819. Let's have a look at the summary of the poem. Keats calls the urn an unravished bride of quietness because it has existed for centuries without undergoing any change as it sits quietly on a shelf or table. He also calls it a foster child of silence and time because it has been adopted by silence and time. Parents who have conferred on the urn eternal stillness. In addition, Keats refers to the urn as a sylvan historian because it records a pastoral scene from long ago. Sylvan refers to anything pertaining to woods or forest. This scene tells a story, legend, in pictures framed with leaves, leaf fringed. A story that the urn tells more charmingly with its images than Keats does with his pen. Keats speculates that the scene is set either in Tempe or Arcady. Tempe is a valley in Thessaly, Greece, between Mount Olympus and Mount Ossa, that is favored by Apollo, the god of poetry and music. Arcady is Arcadia, a picturesque region in the Peloponnesus, a peninsula making up the southern part of Greece. Keats wonders whether the images he sees represent human or gods, and he asks who are the reluctant, loth, maidens, and what is the activity taking place. Keats begins by addressing the urn as an Attic shape. Attic refers to Africa, a region of east central ancient Greece in which Athens was the chief city. Shape, of course, refers to the urn. Thus, Attic shape is an urn that was crafted in ancient India. The urn is a beautiful one, poet says, adorned with reed depicting marble men and women enacting a scene in the tangle of forest trees, branches, and weeds. As people look upon the scene, they ponder it as they would ponder eternity, trying so hard to grasp its meaning that they exhaust themselves of thought. Keats calls this scene a cold pastoral in part because it is made of cold, unchanging marble, and in part perhaps because it frustrates him with its unfathomable mysteries, as does eternity. Keats says that when death claims him and all those of his generation, the urn will remain and it will say to the next generation what it has said to Keats. Beauty is truth, truth, beauty. In other words, do not try to look beyond the beauty of the urn and its images, which are representations of the eternal, for no one can see into eternity. The beauty itself is enough for a human. That is the only truth that a human can fully grasp. The poem ends with an endorsement of these words, saying they make up the only axiom that any human being really needs to know. Let's have a look at the literary devices used in this poem. Assonance, Sylvan historian, you soft pipe play on. What pipes and tumbrils, what wild ecstasy. Personification. Urn shows the quality of human beings, Pipe is termed as ghost and Sylvan historian. Apostrophe. Apostrophe is a figure of speech in which a speaker directly addresses an absent or dead person, an abstract quality or something non human, as if it were present and capable of responding. Here, Keats is calling Urn from afar the Museum of Britain, and the speaker hears the unheard music. Thank you.